In case you have some problem in seeing me, you can come this side.
That's why I'm not asking whether you can see through me or not.
I was thinking at one time that your head is coming in the way.
Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamatav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smruti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. So the topic for discussion these 2 days is characteristics of a wise man. First of all, we have to ask ourselves as to why are we interested in knowing about a wise man? Why is this curiosity in us to know about the characteristics, the traits of a wise man? Because in our own hearts, somewhere we know that we are not that wise. Precisely because we have a picture in our minds, it may be very dim and not very clear, but we have a picture that a wise man is a person who is in control of himself, in command of the situation, and regardless of the situation, he is happy with himself, contented, never gets impatient or irritated, can handle things, remaining cool and calm. Whereas when we face situations, we are not that cool and calm. If things are favorable, desirable, so long it is fine. But when situations, circumstances go haywire, when they are not according to what I want, what I would like them to be, immediately it is seen on our faces, it is seen in our minds. We go through all the turmoil. We can't handle it. We either get elated or sometimes get depressed. We can't even handle our own minds, regardless of the situations also. Why talk of outside things? It is not that easy to handle our own emotions, our own thoughts, our own impulses, in spite of ourselves, in spite of our hard work, and in spite of our efforts also. We cannot handle ourselves. There are certain situations where in spite of ourselves we become angry. Anger takes over us, jealousy, competition, frustration, depression. We succumb, we helplessly succumb to these kind of things. And when things are not fine outside and inside both, we are helpless. This we know. This, and everybody, to some may handle it better, but to some or the other extent, everybody finds it difficult. And you know, life pushes us sometimes to such a corner that we have absolutely no way out. We all pass through these kind of things. And as I said, we have read about some Mahatmas, some Rishis, some great people who are our role models. We may have read about them, heard about them, and that is how innately we have a picture that there are few rare people who do not go through this. There is something in them, that wisdom, that presence of mind, or whatever, there is that something in them by which they are in command of themselves, and no matter what happens, but they are in command of themselves, if not of the situation. This we know, and that is why we always want to be like that. That is our goal. That is what we all are seeking in life, that we also gain that composure. Not a show, but that state of mind, that state of being where nothing disturbs us. Absolutely nothing irritates us, makes us impassioned, and make us lose that peaceful state of mind. That is what we all want. But we all are not that successful in gaining that. So a wise man is he is the successful person in the truest sense of the word. He may not be successful in terms of wealth, name, fame, power, position. He may not have that. But one thing is certain. As in Bhaja Govindam, Shankaracharya ji says, regardless of what, he may be roofless. There may be no roof above him. He may be under a tree. He may be penniless. Nothing around him. He may not even know where the next meal will come from. He may not even know that. He may have to go without that too. But one thing you can be sure of is that he is a picture, an epitome of peace and happiness and contentment. So this is our goal. This is the goal of every human being, whether they know it clearly or not. This is what Arjuna is asking of Lord Krishna. In the second chapter in Bhagavad Gita, this question comes from Arjuna. he asked of Lord Krishna as to Sthita Prajnasya ka bhasha. What is the description of a wise man? Sthita Prajnasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava. Samadhistasya Sthita Prajnasya keshava ka bhasha. What is the description of a man whose knowledge, whose wisdom is steady, which never wavers? Sthitatihi kim prabhasheta, vraje kimasita, kim vrajeta. How does he walk, talk, sit? This is what Arjuna is asking. Now we must first know as to what is the context, what made Arjuna ask this question to Lord Krishna. See, Lord Krishna and Arjuna were always together, and more so in the past 14 years when Pandavas were in the forest, in exile, they were always together. Lord Krishna was always there with them. But it never occurred to Arjuna to ask such a question to Lord Krishna, who is a wise man? How does he walk, talk? It never occurred. But today it occurs. So it will be fair enough to know in what context Arjuna is asking this question, what compelled him from within. This is curiosity. When questions such as this arises, it shows a pure mind. It shows an evolved mind. It's not an ordinary mind. Otherwise, we would be curious about what is the new thing that has come out. Which new phone? That's nothing wrong. By the way, that's nothing wrong. But where is our mind going? What is mind craving? What does it want to know? It may be still, very extrovert, seeking happiness outside. But when these kind of questions arise as to what is freedom, what is bondage, what is the purpose of life, who is a wise man, what are his characteristics, this shows that this is a different mind. This mind is slowly turning inwards. The inward journey has begun. It shows that. And that is why it is important to know in what context Arjuna is asking this question. As we all already know that Arjuna has come to fight in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and both the armies of Pandavas and Kauravas are arrayed against each other, ready to fight. Arjuna is all spirited, all enthused, in a different mood, enters the battlefield and is asking Lord Krishna to place his chariot between the two armies, so that he can very well inspect and see and decide his strategy. So he said, please, Ratham Sthapaya me Achyuta, O Achyuta, please place my chariot. And Achyuta did as he was told, as he was asked, because he has taken up the role of a charioteer. So he does that. But he places the chariot very intelligently, very smartly, right in front of Bhishma Pitamaha and Dronacharya ji, right in front of them. Bhishma Drona Pramukhataha. From a point where Arjuna can see Bhishma Pitamaha and Dronacharya. He knows that they are his weakness. So, and moment that happens, Arjuna's position is definitely unenviable. Both the sides are his people only. Generally, when you go to fight on the battlefield, on one side are enemies, and on the other side are your people. But in Arjuna's case, both the sides is his family, are his own near and dear ones. And seeing them, not that he did not know this before coming to the battlefield, but once you see it right in front of you, and somehow whatever happened, this is also, his punyas. Somehow his mind began to change. He is going through a very critical time, and he is slowly sinking in the ocean of delusion and sorrow. Sorrow born of delusion. Delusion means moha. Moha, what is moha? Moha is not simple attachment. Attachment born of ignorance. When you can't see anything, what you see is not correct. So Arjuna is slowly looking at his own people. There is a change in him, and now he loses all the enthusiasm to fight. And the worst thing has happened. What has happened is, just a second. What has happened is, now he is tossed between, confused between two different thoughts. On one hand is his attachment for his own people, asakti for his people, and on the other side is his duty. Duty as a warrior, duty as a kshatriya. Between these two, he is stuck. He says, dharma sammuda chetaha karpanya dosho pahatasvabhavaha. Dharmas, he says, I realize now, he says this in so many words, that I realize today that I can't decide anything. I can't decide. My intellect so far I have not used, and it has come to such a point that I cannot make any further step. I cannot take any step. Tug of war. There is a tug of war between his attachment on one hand, and on the other side is his duty. He knows, but what to do? See, life puts us before such situation every so often. What to do? At that time, we have to take the right decision. Arjuna could not do this. And understand that in such a state of mind, this kind of situation turned his thinking in a different direction. Suddenly what happened, when you don't find any solution and you are passing through a very, very critical time in your life, it can quite happen that either you give in, you just give in and succumb, or you seek somebody's help. You realize that there are wise people and there are people who can help me in this situation, and you go to them. Or there are people who commit suicide also. They can't find there is no way out. Exactly same thing happened. But Arjuna, there was a window open before him, and his thinking is now undergoing a different direction, which so far had not happened. Remember this very well. Which so far had not happened. Now, for the first time in his life, he realized that this world cannot give me anything. What all I have acquired in life is of no use to me. When you come to know this, it is a very, very difficult time, that what have I done so far? My time is wasted. I did not achieve anything worthwhile. Arjuna felt like Arjuna was not an ordinary person by any viewpoint. He was an extraordinary warrior, extraordinary person who had accomplished so much in life. People were afraid of him. His enemies were also praising him. That is the kind of person that he was. Such a person, he felt what? That I have not achieved anything. I have not achieved any such thing in life which can today bring me out of the sorrow, which can burn my sorrow, which can bring an end to the grief and sorrow that is burning me. He did not see any end to it. which means he realized no matter what he gains, no, even if they got the entire kingdom, even if they won the war and the entire kingdom not only of Hastinapur but of the three worlds, even then he says, Nahi prapashyami, I do not see how this sorrow is going to go. No matter what I gain in life, you may make me president, prime minister, king, anything, but still to be able to see this is not easy. It's not easy to see this. He realized today that nothing outside, no achievement, no wealth, nothing outside can fulfill me. Nothing but nothing can fulfill me. Things do not outside things, material achievements, anything outside does not have the capacity to make me contented, to give me that lasting happiness. And that is what I am seeking. See, he understood. I am seeking, I am craving for that kind of peace, that kind of happiness, which has no beginning and no end, which is everlasting, having gained which there remains nothing to be gained, having known which there remains nothing more to be gained, which means I am seeking something absolute. I am seeking total freedom, and that is nowhere to be seen. That is nowhere to be found in the entire world. This is like what, in Mundak Upanishad, the student there realizes, Parikshya lokan karmachitan brahmanaha nirvedamayat. There the Shruti says that the student examines, Parikshya lokan, examines in and out everything, each and every experiences that he has gone through and that he will go through, which he is likely to go through. He is examining everything, takes the stock. And what is the outcome of that examination? He came to know nothing can give me, all this is limited. All this is fraught with limitations. All this has beginning and it comes and goes. And after a while, even if it is there, we lose interest. We first crave for a thing. If it is written in my destiny, it comes. It is there. I worked so hard for it, expended so much time and energy after it, and now it is there with me. But slowly and steadily I am losing interest in that. It becomes one of the things. Now I have gained it. It becomes now, I have taken it for granted now, and now I want something else. Then something else. Then something else. Then something else. Our life is nothing but a story of what next? What next? What new sensation? What new joy? We have seen Bali, now Hawaii, now Florida, then so many places, one by one we cover. Everything we can cover. I am just not making fun of anything, but this is what is a fact. We keep on looking for things. Next, next, next. There is no end to this. And even after enjoying all this, the inside in us remains as it is. Vacuum is there. There is, still we keep on craving. What next? Which means what? All this did not give me anything. They came and went away. Came and went away. We have to examine Life demands this kind of examination. Don't just let experiences pass by. I experienced this and that and this. Take a stock of life from childhood to where we are, wherever we may be. Examine everything. What did they give me and what did they take away from me? They gave me a little bit here and there, but they took away also. At the end of the day, our life goes away in this manner. And we are back to square one, still hoping for things to happen, still hoping that people should come, meet me, talk to me, love me, make me secure. You know, this, and when this happens, when we give such a thought to life, when we give this kind of thought to life, this won't happen on its own. On its own, nothing happens. On its own, days come and go. Time comes and goes. But we sit back. And even when the experiences are coming and going, we open them, examine them, and see what have they done to me. When this happens, nirvedamayat, then what happens is Mundak says nirvedam. Nirvedam means vairagya. Then dispassion. Dispassion arises. So dispassion, vairagya is clear cut consequence of thinking. Viveka in English, in Sanskrit, in Vedantic terminology, it is called viveka. Viveka, no, Viveka doesn't mean being very polite and all that. Viveka here means what? You think in this manner. Just don't let things pass by. You catch hold of them and think in this manner. When this happens, you are bound to see what? That they are nothing. They cannot give me what I want. My desire, my craving is for a lasting thing, eternal, nityam. That is what I want, and these things cannot give me. Then what am I doing with them? Then what am I doing with them? If they cannot give me what I want, what am I doing with them? This is exactly what happened to Arjuna. This is all, it is not that without reason Bhagavan gave him knowledge. This is what he went through, and this made him surrender. When he came to know this, war was kept aside. Now war is no more his concern. See, imagine, he has been waiting for this, training himself for that, and for these many years he was preparing day and night. He never slept, you know that? Gudakesha. One of his name is Gudakesha. Gudaka means Gudakaya. It also means one who has lovely hair, lovely curly hair. That is one of the meanings. Other meaning is one who has won over sleep. And Arjuna never slept, always working, you know, acquiring different siddhis to get different weapons. How? Why? Because there was only one goal. What was the goal so far? To win the battle. That was the goal. Now that has gone on the side, back burner, back seat. That has completely taken the back seat. And now what is in the front? Where is the true thing? And he asked explicitly, made his request to Lord Krishna. What? O Bhagavan, yat shreya syat nishchitam. That which is nishchitam shreya, this is the word. Nishchitam shreya, that which is capable, that which is definitely good. How? Definitely good, which means that which is absolutely true, which suffers no loss, which is not born, not going, which is always there and is the reality, the truth. This is Shreyas. This is Nishchitam, that you talk to me. Now you please give me that. He is now asking his charioteer to give him what? To become his teacher. This is what he asked. And he knows how to do, huh? He knows the method also. He didn't say, please now start that. No. Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. I have surrendered unto you. He knows how to approach. So he surrendered. And what did he say? I am your student. Please teach me. When this was done, so Lord Krishna did not waste any time. He did not waste any time. He did not say, you finish this first. Let us finish this war. Then we will talk about this at leisure time. And in the war also, you know, there used to be in the evenings, they used to sit and he said, nothing doing right now. Because when the desire has this kind of mumuksha, this kind of burning desire has arisen, it has to be encashed. Catch it properly. And when somebody surrenders, then it is the duty also of a man of knowledge that to impart. Because that is what the life is meant for. And when somebody is ready for this, then that is the most important thing. So Lord Krishna did not say that this was not the part of the contract. This was not the part of the contract. Our contract was what? To drive your chariot. And that too, he had put his conditions. I will not take up any arms. I will just sit there, VIP guest. VIP. I will not do, except driving your chariot, I will not do anything. This was never the part of it. He did not say. And he accepted Arjuna's request, made him a student, and Kurukshetra became what? Became the ground for learning. Actually, you know, by the way, I'll tell you, Kurukshetra was Kurukshetra is a place where lots of yajnas were done. So it was a very, very good place, auspicious place. So many yajnas were done. So the vibes were very good. Whatever is the reason, but Arjuna, there is a change in his life. And Lord Krishna immediately began his teaching. And that too, what teaching? Paramarthikam Jnanam. He began with the absolute knowledge straight away. The car is in the 5th gear. Nowadays all automatic, so you can't give this example. But in India we still have cars with gears. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th. The car went into 5th gear. Straight away he began with the Paramarthika Jnanam. And what is that? Nothing. He started unfolding the reality. The fundamental reality. The reality of me, you, the entire world, Ishvara and everything. How many realities are there? Just one. This one reality, Atma, call it consciousness, call it Brahman, call it Chiti, whatever. That is one reality. He unfolded what it is. He said, Arjuna, you are not Arjuna. You take yourself to be Arjuna. You are not that. You are the self. I am the self. Bhishma Pitamaha is Atma. Dronacharya ji is Atma. Everybody, there is one reality. All this, and the bodies which you see before you are nothing but different costumes. The wearer of the costume is one. Veshi is one. Veshas are different. Veshi is not dying. Veshas are getting changed. And no matter what you do, you will have to change the Vesha. The costume, sooner or later, you will have to change. Vasamsi, Jirnani, all that he is taught. The Veshi, the wearer of all this is consciousness. And it is never subject to being born, never subject to dying, and it is free from all the changes which come between birth and death, free from all these changes, ever the same, plus of the nature of happiness, joy, mere existence, consciousness. And what all you see, what all you see is subject to coming and going. It is now there, not there after some time. And even when you are seeing it, it is changing. It is changing every moment. It is nothing but a show. He went to that extent. Lord Krishna went to the extent of telling him that only consciousness is the reality. Rest is all a show. Rest is all nothing but apparent. Nothing but changing. Nothing but dream-like thing. In dream we see everything, but what you see is nothing but the play of your mind. Similarly, the world is like that. So, in short, Bhagavan gave him everything. The entire knowledge which could free him from sorrow is given, but that is not enough. This is not enough, because the knowledge, this knowledge or any knowledge for that matter, requires a fit mind. The knowledge and the instrument through which you gain the knowledge has to be in keeping with the knowledge. If you want to learn science and engineering, then in school you should have that kind of subjects. You cannot be learning history and literature to go in science. To go in an engineering college, you require those kind of subjects. So, for any knowledge you require that orientation, that training, that eligible fitness is required. Similarly, for this knowledge also, particularly here, because Atma, the reality is extremely subtle. First of all, you can't see it. It is the very truth of the seer. You understand? It is the very truth of the seer himself. You understand what I am saying? It is the truth of the very seer himself. It is hidden as the core of the very seer, and the seer is looking outside, not knowing that he is what he is seeking. So, a very fit, prepared mind is required not only to understand and grasp this knowledge, but also to retain it. Not only a fit mind is required to understand all this, because this can be very boring. This can be very boring if you are not interested. So, a fit mind to understand, to grasp the subtlety of all this, plus to retain it. Otherwise, it goes the very next moment. So, you have to retain, and in course of time you have to abide in that. Or for all this, mind alone is the instrument. So, mind has to be in a proper fit state, and for that, what is required according to Lord Krishna? Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is the means by which you can prepare your mind eligible for this knowledge. Karma Yoga is nothing, but a means to change your mind, a means to bring about a change in your personality. So far, I have taken myself to be an individual, a jiva, helpless creature, and now the knowledge is given. All of a sudden, what? You are Brahman, you are the only reality, you are consciousness, which is all nothing but happiness. How am I going to, it is difficult to swallow this also. It is difficult to swallow. So, you require a mind, and for that, mind has to now transform itself. Now we have to function from the platform of what? Fullness. I am full. Atma. Anandoham. I am nothing but happiness. So now when I come, this is there now here. This knowledge has been imparted, but it is far from reality for me. So Bhagavan, Lord Krishna says, now you bring this knowledge into practice. So Karma Yoga is nothing but knowledge in practice. You bring it in life, just don't keep it here. Here we have big ideas, big knowledge, but then when people start when they start interacting with the world, then your true thing comes out. So people are, why this person is getting so impassioned, so angry, so greedy, so passionate? He is going to classes every day, learning Upanishads. So people question, no, that how come like this? He has been learning for so long and there is no change in his temperament. These questions do arise. So Lord Krishna says, no, what is here has to come here, everywhere. Then only knowledge means something, because what is here will form my mind also, and that will come out through my actions and behavior. It will manifest. So that we have to work hard. We have to work very hard and bring about a change. So Lord Krishna beautifully uses karma, action. Action is something which is there in our life. Action is there from morning to evening. Action pervades our life. Why not use the same action to bring about a change? So now you act. What is the principle, the essence? What is the essence of Karma Yoga is nothing but this. What? That you act but change the attitude. You act but change the attitude, and change the attitude and maintain that attitude throughout, which in course of time will prepare your mind. What is the change of attitude now? Now when I am working, we are all playing our roles. We all have so many roles to play. We all have places in life, wife, and I am mother also, and daughter-in-law also, and this and that. Then when I go out, I am employer and working. So many roles simultaneously we are playing. But now with a change of attitude. What attitude? So far I was a seeker, I was seeking, but now I am a giver. Because what is the nature of Atma? Atma is one. The person with whom I am interacting is also Atma, is also nothing but Ishvara. Ishvara here, Ishvara there, Ishvara everywhere. There is nothing but one Ishvara. So we keep this in mind when we are in the world doing our actions. So we now perform actions with a changed attitude. What is the now attitude? So far my bent of mind was to grab. There was always selfishness in me. I was always the center of whatever I do, which means what will I get? The first question that would arise in our minds before we do something will be what will I get from this? What is in this for me? How will I be benefited? What will be my advantage? I will come, but what will I get? I will come for your party, for your program, but one garland should be there for me also. I should also be recognized. I should also be acknowledged very well. Then I will spend my time. So which means what? This beggar is always there. I always want. But now that shift, which shift? Paradigm shift. What will be the shift now? Now I function from the platform of not a beggar, but a rich man. Richness in terms of what? Richness in terms of what? Atma is already full. My cup is full. That is the reality. Today I don't own it. Today I still don't live that. But that is my goal. Praptasya prapti. It is already achieved. But I don't know. That has not become a reality for me. I am Atma. When I look at you, I don't like you. Where is Atma in this? Those raga dveshas, likes and dislikes are there. As Atma, there should not be likes and dislikes. Everybody is same. Samatvam. Nirdosham hi samam brahma. It is said, Nirdosham hi samam brahma. Vidya, Vinaya, Sampanne, Brahmane, Gavi, Hastini, Shuni, Chaiva, Shvapakecha. In all different, in a Brahmana, in a cow, in a elephant, in everyone, there is one Paramatma. Mattav parataran nanyat kinchid asti Dhananjaya. Bhagavan says, O Dhananjaya, Dhananjaya means Arjuna. O Dhananjaya, there is nothing in this creation beyond me. Everything is me. Everything is woven in me. There is only one thing in the creation, Ishvara. But is it a fact for me? At the most, I can see Ishvara in puja room. At the most. And that too for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Once we come out, moment we come out and go there, you should see our tempers are rising. So, now the reality is everything is Ishvara. So now we have to keep in mind that this entire creation is nothing but a big temple where there is nothing but Ishvara. These are all, it may look as high talks, big words. No, this is reality which we have to make it real for ourselves. And for that Karma Yoga, Bhagavan is very intelligent. Lord Krishna is extremely brilliant. He wants this knowledge to come in life. And so, now when you function, now when you play your duties, play it from the platform of giving. Offer yourself. Do it with the spirit of yajna bhavana. He brings this concept of yajna. Yajna means offering. In the traditional yajna, there is fire and then you invoke Ishvara in that and then you offer dravyas in that. This is the regular fire ritual. That yajna spirit, that spirit of yajna, Lord Krishna where did he bring? In Karma Yoga, through Karma Yoga, he brings this spirit in our life. Life is nothing but a big yajna. You offer yourself in that. See, either you offer the action to yourself or you can offer it to Bhagavan. Bhagavan where? Where Bhagavan? Bhagavan in the form of everyone who is there around me. Whether child or my mother-in-law or my daughter-in-law or my spouse or sibling, my enemies too. I begin to see and then offer. So now when I am performing actions in this way, my likes, my dislikes, my priority, my convenience, all this doesn't get importance. What will get importance? I have to play my role, knowing the script in the best of the way. This is an opportunity given to me to serve, to offer, and I do it without any complaints and without having the notion that I am obliging others. No, by this I am obliging myself. I am becoming purer and purer and purer, coming closer to my reality. Each such action performed with the spirit of offering, helping, caring, loving, taking, when it is performed in this manner, where am I going, I am coming closer and closer to myself. Because I am working from the platform of love, When I want to find love, I have to be loving. So, when you do in this manner, you are changing. When you receive the result, see, karma has two things. When you perform, that is one aspect of karma, and which is the other aspect of karma? You receive the result. With each actions that are performed, the outcome is the effect, the result. Now, my likes and dislikes, my smallness, my selfishness, the old habits can come into play both while performing as well as while receiving the result. Both the times the individual comes in front. What is the result? If the result is not to my expectations, then you should see our face. Then immediately our behavior. Right? With Bhagavan also, we will fight with him that day. And we constantly complain also, Bhagavan has not been fair, very unjust. There is no fairness in this world. People go to that extent. No fairness. No Bhagavan. If Bhagavan was there, things would have been like this. What do you know about Bhagavan? But we start complaining. Why? Because the outcome is not in keeping to my expectations. So, what is the antidote to this? I am already full. Come back to the reality. I am full and fine. Whatever the result has come is fine. It is prasada. With prasada buddhi. Prasada buddhi means gracefully I accept. Gracefully I accept. Because I now know that I don't need it. I am already fine. Whatever is fine. What happens? Both this, while doing also my mind remains quiet, without reactions. Why have I got to do? Why should I do this? Why not him? Why not her? Why I am given this work? This I don't deserve. This is below my esteem. I cannot do. We have ideas about ourselves. So we react when the action comes to us. Similarly, if we are not mature, we react when the result comes. At both the times we keep on murmuring and fighting and complaining, and so many grievances are there while working, while receiving. You know what is happening? I remain the same old individual, Jiva. Even though I may be attending classes in the morning. But unless I work out, and if people have big idea, Karma Yoga is not meant for us. We have crossed that stage. We are in Jnana Yoga. But what is the dimension of Karma Yoga? Bhagavan says, even if you know everything, what is the harm? Janaka knew everything and still he worked. Atma is not a doer. What is your problem? What is your problem? Why do you want to avoid? So, very consciously, very consciously we have to function in life and receive the results. At both the times, watch your mind. Watch the tendencies that occur in the mind. Watch, be alert, be vigilant, and every time they occur, teach them, educate yourself. Why this beggarliness? What has happened to you? Go back to your reality. I am Brahman, I am full, I am complete. In this manner, when I constantly, alertly do all this, actually this is first level of sannyas only. Karma Yoga is first level of sannyasa. What sannyasa? I am a gruhastha, working in life day and night. How come I am a sannyasi? Yes, but you are sannyasi where? Here. Here I am a sannyasi. Why? Because when I am doing something, my attitude is, let others be beneficiary of this. Let others be beneficiary. I have had enough. and I am content with what I have, what Ishvara will give me. See, understand what is there in our prarabdha, nobody can take. Why do we cry? What is written in prarabdha, nobody can take away. So, we have to work to change our mind, and when that I keep on doing, it is a conscious effort that we have to make. This is where hard work is required. So Lord Krishna says that one who does this is first level of sannyasi. What are you giving up? Your likes, dislikes, convenience, favorability. You may insult me, but still, so he did not talk to me well, did not receive me well, so now I will also not do it for him. No. I have to be very alert. I will remain the same. When you do it in this manner, in course of time, your mind is ready. Mind becomes ready and quiet. Lord Krishna says, Yadate moha kalilam buddhir vyatitarishyati. When your mind will cross all such base tendencies which occur due to ignorance, but because of this effort, this conscious effort of karma yoga, when your mind crosses this, then what? Then you are ready. And then the mind will abide. Mind will easily abide. Understand the knowledge is now becoming a reality. So you understand, the knowledge is given. Shravanam is done. Knowledge is given. Then karma yoga, I prepare myself for that. What is the test that karma yoga has fructified? That karma yoga has done its part. What is the test of that? When my mind is calm and quiet, I have no resistance. I don't resist, don't complain, no likes, dislikes, and mind is happy with itself, learning. Then I understand that karma yoga has worked. Then Lord Krishna says, Samadho achala buddhihi tada yogam avapsasi. When your mind abides in the self, then knowledge is very close. In fact, you are on the path of becoming a wise man. You are already very close to that, because mind is now ready. When Arjuna heard this, he's been listening very closely. Arjuna is a very good student. Without his mind getting distracted, he is all eyes and ears and listening very well. So he asks a question. He is asking, moment Lord Krishna said that then the mind will abide. Shruti vipratipanna te yada sthasyati nischala samadho achala buddhihi tada yogam avapsyasi. Then the mind will be in samadhi. Samadhi means what? Mind will abide in its nature, which means it is happy. Then you are in the self. Moment he heard this, and now Lord Krishna has taught everything that is to be taught. So at the end of that verse, teaching is given. The teaching is completely given in the second chapter itself. Had Arjuna not asked this question, Gita would have been over there itself. But Arjuna asked, he is very alert. He says, having heard this, he says, for the person whose mind abides and he is all ready, jnana tada yogam avapsyasi, there the meaning of yoga is jnanam. Then he abides in the self, he gets knowledge. Who is that person? At that point he asked, who is that person? And the spirit of his question is, how does he react to the world? when he is also, when he encounters situations, circumstances in life, how does he respond? He asked. His specific question is this: Sthita prajnasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava samadhistasya sthita prajnasya ka bhasha keshava. Keshava, what is the description of a wise man? Sthitadihi, one whose prajna, wisdom, abides in Atma. Sthitadihi, kim prabhasheta, how does he talk? Kim vrajeta, how does he wander? Kim asita, how does he sit? Do you mean to say that he was asking how does he sit? Whether he sits in Vajrasan or Padmasan. We don't expect Arjuna to ask such a thing. Or how does he talk? Talks very slowly. Then wise man. Talks very fast. Then wise man. How does he wander? Keeps on wandering all the time. Then wise man? No. See, that he did not mean all this. We can come to know from Lord Krishna's reply. Lord Krishna did not say that he is one who sits in Vajrasan is wise man, or one who sits in Padmasan is wise man. No such thing. He understood the spirit of the question. And so Lord Krishna began describing the characteristics of a wise person. And there are many chapters, throughout Gita. One is 2nd chapter, then there is 12th chapter, then there is 14th chapter, then there is 18th chapter. In all these chapters, specifically in all this, 2nd, then 12th, then 14th and 18th. In all this, everywhere in between you find. But in these chapters, he has given time and in different words given the characteristics of a wise man. And what is important is that what are the characteristics of a wise man becomes means for us. What is natural for him becomes means for us, because we want to become like that. For him it is natural. He abides in it spontaneously. He doesn't have to think. He abides naturally. When you abide naturally in knowledge, love is very natural. The manifestation of knowledge is in the form of love, compassion, sympathy, cool and calmness, no reactions, all that is natural. But for us, it has to be consciously cultivated. So what is natural for him becomes means for us, by which we have to become like that. So here, it is the natural thing for him. But when I listen to that, Arjuna is asking for that reason, please tell me, so that I become like that. His interest is only in this. How do I become like that? And when for that hard work is required. These qualities don't come that easily. I have to follow that, and in course of time it becomes natural. Just as I said, if I want to become lovable, what should be my behavior? How should I come across people? Loving. Loving. It is through love that I can find love. Through hatred and indifference and rejection, can I find love? No. When I want to find love, then I have to imbibe that in my life. Compassion. I have to practice. Be sensitive. Be kind. Deliberately be kind. Deliberately kind to people. So, Arjuna, so here the diagnosis as well as the treatment is the same. Both are same. Wisdom can be found by becoming wise every moment. Then at the end of the day, you will find yourself to be wise. You will naturally abide in that. So Arjuna wants to be like that. So he is asking. And therefore, what is the characteristic of wise man become the means for us to cultivate in life. And that is why Lord Krishna, even though in first 3 verses, there is a long description, but in first 3 verses you see how he responds. And then there are verses which are actually not meant for wise men. They are actually the verses for a seeker to cultivate. Then he talks about, wise man who indriya, he keeps his sense organs away from the sense objects, and then all this is not needed for a wise man. He already abides, but they are specifically mentioned. We will see that. Why? Because this is all, a seeker is listening and he has to become like that. So a teacher has to be very careful and see to it that the student goes through the right direction. So he will be mentioning all that also. But in the first 3 verses, in the very first verse, let me read that. The Bhagavan says, when this question is asked, the very first verse has everything. It says, Prajahati yada kaman. Please repeat. Sarvan partha manogatan. Atmanyevatmana tushtaha. Sthita prajnastadochyate. See, this is the first description. The very first verse, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, when he began to describe the wise man, what does he say? Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan. Hey Partha, yada sarvan manogatan kaman yada prajahati. When all the desires, the description is little, you have to pay attention to that. Yada sarvan manogatan kaman, when all the desires which arise in the mind are given up. We will understand that he doesn't give up. They go away. They get dropped. He doesn't drop them. There is no such doership or kartrutva in giving. When you give up, then it out of will you are giving it up. But it has to drop. It has to leave you. Not that you leave them. You can't leave them. They have to leave you. So we will see that. So when all the desires that are arising in the mind, he gives up. Yada prajahati. Prajahati means what? Prakarshena jahati. Very well he gives up. Again, I will make a note here. He doesn't give up, they get dropped in the wake of knowledge. Then what happens? What is he? When can you give up? Actually, this is also, you can give up only and only when you no more need them. You don't need anything. When can you give up food? When you are full. Take one rasgulla more. No. One laddu, second laddu, third laddu. How many laddus can you eat? Until your stomach is full. Then when you force it, no more. No more. Similarly, when this person is full, I am all happy. I am all happy, nothing but happiness. He is experiencing this. He himself is picture of happiness. Atmani eva atmana tushtaha. Atmani eva atmana. By himself, in himself. Atmana, by himself. Atmani, in himself. Tushtaha, he is all content. In himself, by himself. Then, tushtaha, he is all happy, contented, satisfied, fulfilled. Cup is full to the brim. then he is called Sthita Prajna, then Sthita Prajna Tada, then people call him what? Sthita Prajna. His wisdom, Prajna, abides. So what is the definition of this Sthita? Sthita Pratishtita Aham Asmi Param Brahma Iti Prajna Yasya Saha Sthita Prajna. Who is called this? This is Bahuvrihi Samas. Who is called this Sthita Prajna? One whose Prajna abides very well in the knowledge that I am Brahman. Brahman means happiness. Brahman means peace. Brahman means fullness. When his wisdom abides in this, then he is called Sthita Prajna. But the point is, here it is said that when he is happy in himself, then he gives up desires. Now, desires cannot be something that is given up. When can anybody give up desires? And why should we? The first question will be, why should we give up? What is wrong in them?
We don't need it.
There is nothing wrong. The question will be, what is wrong with the desire? Why are this Vedanta is always after desires? Always finding and condemning desires. There is nothing wrong with desire. Bhagwan himself is talking to Lord Arjuna. Vedavyasa is writing this magnum opus. He is writing this. Shankaracharya ji was constantly working. So they have desires, but we have to know that there are some desires coming out of fullness, and there are desires coming out of inadequacy, emptiness. One is, there are two kinds of desires. There are some desires which don't bind you, non-binding desires. There are other sets of desires which are binding desires. Now see, when I think that I am a limited individual, bound by time, bound by space, I am just this one person, incomplete. I have many limited, body itself is limited, mind itself is limited, everything is limited. There will always be someone or the other who is better than me, bigger than me, stronger than me, talented than me, and moment I see them, what will I have? That they are big is not a problem, but that they have more than me. I got 90% is fine, but my friend got how many percentage? 97. That becomes a problem, because moment I come to know that I am lesser than him, lesser than the other person, my inadequacy becomes very evident to me, and I can't handle that. I can't handle my limitations, my shortcomings, my inadequacies, my incompleteness. Moment I take myself to be inadequate, there are bound to be desires. Desire to become bigger, better, best. Why? It arises from the platform of inadequacy, incompleteness. So, all the desires have their roots where? Have its roots or source in ignorance. We cannot remove desires, because desires come from a different source. What is the source? Ignorance. Ignorance of what? Of my own nature. When I don't know that I am full and I take myself to be incomplete, the desire is going to be there to become complete. So, unless and until we remove the cause, the effect cannot go. So, we have to first remove the cause, and what is that cause? Ignorance. It is ignorance, and ignorance of what? Not ordinary ignorance. Ignorance of myself, my true nature, that I am full, complete, I am the only reality. This when I don't know, I cannot but have desires, and desires which are of which nature? To become complete. All our life we are struggling to become. Our life is nothing but a process of becoming, and I want to become better, better, better. Why? Because I feel that I am nothing. So, these desires have arisen from ignorance, and from ignorance the natural consequence is desires, and from desires again then I have to work for them to bring about a result. So, avidya brings kamana, kamana will result into karma, karma will result into ragadvesha, ragadvesha will again lead me to another desires and karma. This chain goes on and on and on until what? Until a time comes when I remove ignorance. See, supposing when I am sitting here and there is suddenly an ant, bites me. So, one has bitten me, then again after some time another one bites me. So, now I see it, I pick it up and put it there. I do not hurt it, but softly I pick up the ant and put it there. Then again I am talking, and after some time again one ant comes and bites me. I pick that up and put it there. In this manner I go on doing it. Then after the talk it strikes me, where are they coming from? One by one I am removing them, and still then I see that there is a whole chain of ants. And where are they coming from? There in that place is a sugar crystal. Sugar crystal is there, and because of that the ants are coming. Unless I remove that laddu or sugar crystal or whatever, unless I remove them, tell me, can I stop the ants from coming?
No.
They will keep on coming. So, the cause is what? What is attracting them? Sugar crystal. Similarly here, what is attracting this desire? I cannot but desire. What is the cause? I fulfill one desire, then another comes, then fulfill that also, another comes, then fulfill that also, another comes, and by that time my life is over. Then another life, same process. We never wait to see where are they coming from. Ignorance is right here. Ignorance is right here where Atma is. There itself ignorance of Atma, my nature. So, from that incomplete, not satisfied, nothing is proper, life is lacking, and then I find fault with others. My spouse is not good, my parents are not good, my boss is not good, my situations are not good. Find fault with everything. One who is not comfortable with oneself will not be comfortable with others also. Understand this very well. If you are not happy with yourself, you cannot be happy because if you are unhappy, how are you going to give a happiness to others? You can't. And so there are always conflicts in our relationships. Constantly things are, somehow we patch up and come back and everything, we keep on doing all this, but discomfort is here. Discomfort is in the core. It is bound to give rise to desires. And what kind of desires? Not ordinary desires. Make me complete, give me joy, give me security, look at me, laugh at me, comfort me, pat my shoulders, something or the other. All these are binding desires arising from where? Ignorance. I cannot be happy unless these desires are fulfilled. Once they are fulfilled, temporarily I am happy, but then again, because the sugar crystal in the form of that ignorance is there. Just as in rainy season we cut the weeds, when the lawn and etc., we keep on cutting the weeds etc. Again it comes. Why? Because the seed is there. So, on the surface you may keep cutting, but still they keep coming. Similarly, ignorance is like that seed which gives rise to desires. So, desire is not something like a button which I switch off, now you go away. We can't do, we are helpless before them. But here Bhagavan says that giving up all the desires, he is happy in himself, by himself, which means that desires have dropped in the wake of him having found happiness in himself. See, to the extent I find happiness manifesting from myself, to that extent I can give up. It is not that one day I found everything, all happiness, and then I gave up. No, you can give up to the extent you have. I can give as much to my capacity. Similarly, to the extent and happiness began to manifest from Karma Yoga only. When I started the process of Karma Yoga, from that time itself, happiness began to manifest. Every time I gave, I felt good about myself. So, I was becoming independent slowly and slowly and slowly. And it culminated in what? In knowledge. So now I am happy with myself, and therefore I don't depend upon my desires to be fulfilled. In fact, there are no such desires. If at all there are any desires, the desires are to help others. Desires are there, don't think that their minds are empty. Nothing comes in their minds. No, mind is there, so mind will keep functioning and desires will be there. But what desires? Let me be of some help. Lord Krishna himself is not living for himself. He said in the 4th chapter, he says, what have I got to gain? Tell me. Nana avaptavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana. In all the 3 worlds I have nothing to accomplish. And still I keep on working. Why? I am working, teaching you, and I have come here to establish dharma. Paritranaya sadhunam, vinashaya cha dushkrutam, dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. I will keep on doing. Every time I will come whenever it is the need of the hour to destroy evil, to protect wise, good people, righteous people, and establish dharma. Bhagavan is never quiet for a moment in the form of this entire creation, sun, moon, planets, trees, mountains. He is constantly working ceaselessly. Ceaselessly he works for what? For what? So that people be benefited. So desires are not a problem. Which desires are a problem? Those which have their base in ignorance. Not the desires which are non-binding. Wise men also have desires, but even if they are not fulfilled, no problem. He may be out to do something, the project may not succeed. Okay, fine, Bhagwan's wish. He will not be dejected, oh, why did it not happen? Whereas in case of an ignorant man, if his desires are not fulfilled, he cannot be happy. So there is a difference between the desires of an ignorant person as well and the desires of the wise man. Wise men have the mind, so Bhagwan will use it for the benefit of the world. But none of these desires are going to affect him, bind him. So Bhagwan says here, he is happy in himself, by himself. Just he has complete self-acceptance is there. The only problem in life is that we don't accept ourselves. He has accepted and he never wavers from that. So we will talk more about this. Now there will be, Lord Krishna will be describing what about certain situations. Will he, if there are very difficult situations in his life also, life remains the same, prarabdha, everybody has prarabdha. So what if he also faces some difficult situations, how will he respond? If there are good situations, how will he respond? So that also he will be replying. So this is how a wise man is being described. as I said, this is for us to learn from the way it is natural for him, but they are our role models. Lord Krishna himself, his life was never steady, never a bed of roses. In fact, he was born in prison. He immediately had to be shifted to different parents. Then when he is enjoying his life, then again go. He had to leave Vrindavan and begin his mission. And then they were quite settled, and then again Jarasandha came and he had to leave that place barefooted, had to go and settle in another place. He retreated from the battle, and we know in the end he had to destroy his own people, his own family. Not easy, but he did that. But you never see him as if, with a small face, down face, always smiling, always in command of. So this is what is expected, and this is what life knowledge does. So we'll talk more about this tomorrow. Om Purnamatah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
Anybody has any question?
Yes, of course.